It's Tilly.
Today we're talking about the Polaroid camera, Elgin, and Fatima, as well as the kimono woman. If you do not want any spoilers and you are not all caught up with season 3 of From, please save this video and come back later when you find out that Julie is the one that threw the rope down to Boyd in the well. If you go back to the episodes where that takes place, it takes place in the middle of season 1, episode 10 finale, and season 2, episode 1, the beginning. In that episode where Boyd is in the well and where Tabitha and Victor are in the tunnels, is when everyone is coming to town on the bus for the first time. And I pointed out in an earlier video this week, the song that Elgin's listening to on his headphones in season 2, episode 1 is the same song at the end of season 1, episode 10 that's playing on the radio jukebox in the diner. Elgin said he had dreams of this place, and I think Elgin is stuck in some kind of time loop himself. We know that Fatima and the kimono woman were seen by him in a Polaroid together in one of the last episodes, and now Fatima herself is seeing the kimono woman. And Elgin tells her, girl, like, you are pregnant, it's just not your baby. So we still don't know, is it the kimono woman's baby? Is it Fromville's baby? Like, what actually is it? So much has gone on with Elgin and the kimono woman behind the scenes that we haven't seen them talking about, but she uses the Polaroid camera as a way to communicate his next steps to him. Also, right before I get back to the Polaroid camera, I want to point out it's still shady that Clara is nowhere to be seen in the last 2 episodes, but that somehow while Julie was time traveling and Jade sees the symbol on the wall and Jasper at the same time in Colony House as Jasper's seen by Victor and Tabitha in the tunnels, at the same time Julie's down there. Julie and Elgin were finding the Polaroid together in the basement after Elgin saw Clara, and Jade saw Jasper in Colony House at the same time Victor did in the tunnels, and Clara was the one just talking to him, and Clara specifically said, I think we made this place mad. I think it has a temper. That's something that she would only know via Victor, because Victor's the one that has told us that and other characters before. I just wanted to point out Clara because I really feel like I believed for a minute in my previous videos that she was the one that moved the Polaroid camera. So why am I bringing up Clara and her moving the Polaroid camera? And that's because I don't now think that it was Clara. I think that camera is in at more places at the same time at once, just like Jasper, like the objects in Fromville are, just like Tabitha's bracelet. Jasper, Tabitha's bracelet, the camera, they've all been in multiple places at the same time. Somebody in the comments had asked a few weeks ago, like, how does the camera still look brand new if it's 40 years old? How does the battery still work? How is the film not expired? That's a good question, because the camera exists in multiple points of time at the same time because it has no defined timeline. And we thought the whole series that the puppet was going to be possessed with the boy in white or the entity, the evil entity, whatever it may be, but it's actually seeming like the Polaroid is the one that's possessed. Which to me, I kind of like because it's more nuanced. Like, it made us think which one they were going to choose. It was never Jasper that was the scary one we need to be worried about. It was always the Polaroid. Something interesting about the Polaroid too is if you go back and watch season 2, episode 1, right after Jasper yells at Jade, Jade goes with Ethan into Victor's room. Ethan is telling Jade, everyone has a role to play. We're on a quest. And maybe these are one of the items that will help them complete the quest. However, Jade starts looking for all these clues and things, and he continues to have a conversation with Ethan and tells him about the Polaroid he found that had Christopher's photo on it with Victor inside of it. You're telling me that's happening at the same time in the future that Elgin is being taken over control by the kimono woman and this camera, and that camera is in 2 places at once at the same time? Like, there's so much to consider here that I'm explaining it to you while still trying to understand it myself. The second that Jade finds out about Jasper and what Victor and Tabitha have been up to, really, and Jade finds out about, you know, what Elgin's been up to, because I feel like that will come to light at some point, he's going to connect more dots because he's going to have more context to go off of. And it is presumable that this camera is controlled by the kimono woman and that she may not want what's best for people in town and that she has tricked Elgin. And now, you know, maybe that's why Christopher himself felt like he was not responsible to go into the tree and save the children because he felt like everything in this town lies to him. Maybe the camera made him do something in the past before that photo was taken of him or after that photo was taken of him that Jade found. He didn't feel good about, and he said, you know what, the camera lied to me. Why would I think the boy in white is going to tell me anything that's going to be truthful and help? And that kind of parallels to Randall, because Randall tells Julie in this episode, what makes you think that anything here is trying to help us? Randall has the same mindset as Christopher. Like, we're getting so into the nitty gritty of this entire story that it's just getting so good. I ultimately want to know how Elgin is so easily able to decipher the messages in these photos. And so it could be, yes, the kimono woman's using it to show him things, but at the same time, he doesn't know fully why he's doing that unless she's explaining it to him and we're not seeing it off screen. So I feel like, you know, if Elgin knows and wants the end result to be proven, then maybe he should have asked the camera to show him them getting out of town and a future thing, because he knows that it can take pictures of different places and times. Like, that's the other thing about this camera that's so sus. Like, it can take photos of different points and spaces in either the same time, in the past or the future. This camera is not confined by the rules of time and space. Just like Jasper, and maybe just like the jukeboxes, there's so many things here that we still have yet to understand, but we're going to get through them together. We're going to keep theorizing, and I thank you guys for joining me today. Let me know what you think of the non-linear time traveling, future reading, past showing Polaroid camera.